Hey everybody, my name is Steven and welcome back to the Storytime channel. Without wasting any time, let's get into our stories of the day. A Karen tries to get the owner's daughter fired. So background, this was about 2 years ago when my dad owned a pub. I was 14 and old enough to chip in by taking orders for the restaurant, cleaning tables, etc. And one day we had just opened and my dad had gone down to the basement to change one of the kegs. As I was sitting at the bar talking to our new employee, showing them what to say, my dad had taught me himself and the employee was barely out of college. The employee asked if it was okay if she quickly went to the bathroom since there weren't any customers. It was only 4 p.m. and the locals normally started pouring in at 6, so I said it was okay. As I'm drinking my cola, Karen arrives. "Excuse me." "Hello?" "I wanna," lists her drink. "And be quick with it." "I'm sorry, I'm not working." She cut me off. "Stop lying, I've seen you clean the tables, I know you work here." Me, shocked. "I'm sorry, Miss Karen, but I'm not working today, and even if I was, I couldn't get you your drink since I'm not allowed behind the bar." "Stop lying, you're here so you must be working. Get me my drink." "Miss Karen, She cuts me off again. "You're so rude, I know the owner, you know, I could get you fired." At this point, our new employee returns. I'll call them NE for nice employee. They say, "Hello, welcome to XX Inn, what can I get for you?" "Give me the owner, I want this girl fired." I gave the nice employee a look that basically said, "Get him, my dad." I was holding in tears at this point and nice employee could see that. "I'll just grab him from downstairs, one moment." "Good." Turns out my dad had been upstairs the entire time Karen had been there and heard it all. "What's the meaning of this?" he firmly asked Karen. "Mr. R, my dad's last name, this employee of yours needs to be," my dad cut her off. Dad firmly, "She's not my employee." "What? But I've seen her clean up and take orders and..." Dad cut her off again. "That's because she's my daughter." Karen turns to look at me, who is still trying to calm down, and speaks. "If you really are his daughter, then why couldn't you give me my drink?" Nice employee, me, and my dad was shocked and in disbelief by this, but I managed to speak. Me, almost in tears, "I'm fudging 14, it's illegal." Karen went pale and before she could speak, my dad did. "Now get out of my pub, you're banned for the rest of the month." We haven't seen her since, mainly because about 10 months later, my dad sold the pub. I'm happy to hear OP's dad stepped right in and completely shut this Karen down. My Nature Valley shirt has people asking me for samples. One of my favorite shirts that I own is a green shirt with the Nature Valley logo on it. I got it for free from a university I was attending as a giveaway for attending an event. I love that shirt so much, I tend to wear it as soon as I wash it, and it's a go-to errand shirt. Of course, this means that people mistake me for a Nature Valley rep. Is that a thing? And I've had so many people come up to me asking for coupons, if I was giving away free bars, free boxes, and to tell me how much they love Nature Valley. Not surprisingly, this happens when I go to various grocery stores. My favorite encounter was not one of these moments. I was at a health food store and their employees also wear the same dark green color that my shirt is. A woman came up to me while I was unloading my groceries to pay and asked about the location of an item. Confused, I said, "Oh, I don't know." She gave me a look of disgust, looked me up and down really slowly, and then said, "Oh," and just kept staring at me. I continued to unload my basket and I think she finally realized that 1, I was trying to pay for my groceries and 2, my shirt was different from the employees' shirts. She must have got the idea and finally took off the other way. I think if there's one thing I've learned from all of these stories, it's that if I ever ask for help from an employee anywhere, I'm gonna make 1,000,000 times sure they're wearing the actual correct uniform. 13-year-old me gets confused for a security guard. "Hi, this is just a really short one, since it wasn't a long interaction and it happened so long ago that I don't really remember exactly what happened. But it popped into my head while I was reading some other stories and I figured it wouldn't hurt to share. Back when I was 13 or so, I just started stepping into the amazing world of internet fandoms. And as a newly excited fan of everything, I decided to go to a convention. Yeah, I know, younger teens at cons can be annoying, but hey, what can you do? Now naturally, being a child, my dad had to drive me there. And once we arrived, he insisted on walking around wherever I was. Now, some info on how the mix-up probably happened. The security guards for the event were wearing dark blue t-shirts with a yellow star on them. And coincidentally, we had both decided to wear blue shirts. So for that, I get how this might have happened. But my dad is an older, not very intimidating or strong-looking man, and I, again, was a 13-year-old child who very much looked my age. Now, I could be wrong here, but I don't think large events usually hire young teens for security. As my dad and I were walking around an emptier hall, a man called to us and flagged us down. We stopped, confused, and waited for him to come over. The guy walked up to us and said something along the lines of, "Hey, do you know where the panel is?" My dad and I looked at each other, then back at the guy, and then my dad told him, "Sorry, no, we don't work here." This might have made the man take a closer look at us. "Oh, but do you know where it is?" Again, the answer was, "Sorry, no." The man then walked off to a nearby real security guard, leaving my dad and I to wonder if we somehow looked far more capable and intimidating than we ever would have expected. That's pretty much the whole story. Again, sorry it was so short. I know this little diatribe is far from one of the most exciting stories to ever be shared here, but if anyone bothered to read through the whole thing, I hope you enjoyed it. In that moment, if it was your own 13-year-old self and somebody actually confused you for a security guard, how would you be feeling in that moment, or what would you say to the person? Let me know in the comments below. Karen, do you need a friend? This is what I get for going to the store instead of ordering groceries to be delivered. So with the corona stuff going on, I've been dutifully staying in my apartment, like a decent human being, and limiting any time I spend outside. Unfortunately, this has been heck on my partner's mental health and the depression is real. So I decided, screw it. We're both food boys and he likes cookies. There's a Giant the next block over. So I get dressed, put on my sweet Disney mask, go on Etsy, the designs are wonderful, and head out to get my partner some cookies. Now for reference, my style is hobo chic. So sweats, sneaks, graphic tee, and a hoodie. Keep that in mind. I go into Giant and head for the cookie aisle. I'm considering if I want to do Oreos or if I want to be fancy and get Pepperidge Farm. These are the important questions of life. When an older woman who is very short asks if I can grab something for her off the top shelf. Of course, I say yes because she was nice enough to ask. I'm a simple guy. I hand her the item and go back to my contemplation. As I decide to get them both, I hear the I've worked in retail and I've worked food service, so I know the sound of a wild Karen when I hear one. What's up? What's up? Is that how you treat? I have zero in the way of spoons and even less patience. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to look at me and try that line of thinking again. Who the freak? Hey, Let me tell you what we're not gonna do. I need you to woo and chill. I know you know better. Karen still looks mad but doesn't say anything. Now, I can help you find an employee if you want, but what you will not do is yell at me. I am only here to get cookies. I point at my stomach. I'm a thick boy. Not that I need them. Karen cracks a small smile. Gotcha. But at this point, I'm committed to this. I didn't choose thick life, it chose me. Karen starts to crack and laughs a little before all of a sudden starting to tear up. I'm 6 foot, 300 pounds, and black. A crying Karen is a bit detrimental to my continued freedom. You okay? Yeah, it's just that this is the first time I've laughed in a while. My husband is in the hospital. The virus? Yeah. I'm not sure if it means much coming from some cookie guy, but I hope he recovers. Karen smiled and walked away. While she didn't apologize for popping off, I'm glad it didn't escalate further. Her husband's condition doesn't excuse what I'm sure would have been an awful tirade, but it does serve as a reminder that crap is bad for everyone. When it got up to the point where the ahem comes through, I really didn't expect it to take that kind of a twist. Both the making the Karen laugh and then kind of the bombshell of the whole situation. I'll be hoping for the best for her husband. Sitting in a computer store actually was a good advertising. A bit of context. Since few years, I've been learning about building PCs and built some. I also like to help newbies to gaming choosing components and building their first machines. Sometimes they pay me some or give me a bar of chocolate or something. I was still underage at that time, and this day I was a ceremony master in an academy at my school, so I was in a suit with a tie. After it ended, I was waiting for my friend to end his classes, so I went to some computer store, which dress code was also suits but without ties. So I was walking around mostly thinking, I saw that CPU $10 cheaper on the internet, and came to pre-builds, which are really not the best there. Like putting a good CPU and motherboard that doesn't allow you to modify the computer in any way, so you would most likely spend much more money on upgrades and etc. After some time, a lady came in with a 14-year-old kid and began looking on those pre-builds. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to help them because they could get much better PCs at the same price, but I am kind of introvert. Most likely I am unable to start the conversation with strangers, so I just moved to the next one. But after some while, they approached me. "Excuse me, could you help us choosing a good computer for my son?" "Of course, what would it be used for?" As I said, they have to break the stranger barrier. I can speak normally now, it's strange. "Well, learning of course." I saw them looking at computers about $1,000 to $1,500, so certainly not the case. Mostly kid talked her into more expensive ones. "Would you like to play any games too? If yes, which ones?" The kid says, "Yes, I like so-and-so." I saw that PC, pointed at some, has good components for it. I say, "Not all. I suggest you ask someone who works here about more specific parameters." They showed, for example, only an i7 CPU, not the exact model, typical in my country. "So you don't work here?" Her cheeks turned kind of pink. Probably she got a little embarrassed. "No, I don't. However, if you would like, I can build a computer at a much better price than those ones. Here's my number." In the end, I built them a much better computer than what the shop offered and earned $20, which I didn't ask for, so happy ending. Even though the story might not be as interesting. Edit: I did steal that one customer from the store, but in most of my builds I use some parts from them. Usually they have good prices for the CPU or GPU, so I am even getting them some money. They wouldn't mind not selling one pre-build. You might think they don't mind not selling one pre-build, but make sure you don't tell them that, that's for sure. They'd probably get pretty upset. Pick your battles. Several years ago, before we had the term Karen for certain customers, I decided to buy a grill. A little backstory. I worked the oil field and I told my crew if we met certain goals, I would buy a kitchen trailer. My guys came through in shining fashion, and it was now up to me to hold up my end of the bargain. Granted, I would be spending a lot of my own money so that when I leave, I'll have a cool kitchen to take to camping or for parties, but this has nothing to do with the incident. I ordered a very expensive custom grill through a retail outlet that shall not be named. This grill was amazing, and you would hope so for $12,000. I know that's crazy high, but this was fully custom made. I knew the exact second it arrived because the store manager called me asking when I could come pick it up. Stores don't like having too much inventory sitting around, especially something that expensive. I said I would be there that evening. I showed up, and while I was excited about the grill, I was in a bad mood. Work just sucked that day. I was waiting by customer service, and they said it might be a bit before they could get it out to me. No worries, I'll wait. While I'm standing there, I see Karen walk in. She looks at me and beelines in my direction, then in a huffy voice, "Young man, are you busy? I need help finding some things." I'm wearing a tan work shirt with my name and my company name, very different from the store uniform. I obviously don't work here. I'm waiting for something, but I don't work here. Maybe ask them. I point to a nearby employee. "Why can't you just do your job? Stop being lazy and help me." I'm not in the mood for this, but I'm trying to be nice. "Ma'am," I point to the company name on my shirt, "this is where I work." Then wave to the surrounding store. "Not here. You need to talk to someone else." Karen starts screeching, "Stop being lazy and do your job." That's it. Listen, you freaking moron, how can I say it any simpler? I don't work here. Now get the freak out of my face. I'm guessing Karen has never been yelled at like this before because her mouth just hangs open as she walks away. I thought this was over, but boy was I wrong. Within a few minutes, I see her approaching again with what is clearly a manager, pointing to me and saying, "That's him, that's the one." They get to me and she goes on,
This person refused to assist me, then was yelling and swearing when I tried to remind him what his job was. I demand that you fire him."
The manager looks confused, then tries to placate her. "Okay, well, we can have our employees treating customers this way, so you are going to need to turn in your uniforms and—" "Wrong choice, buddy." Manager stopped talking. I might have gone along with it and laughed it off, but the smug, satisfied look on Karen's face was infuriating me. You know I don't work here. I'm not playing along. You have two choices right now. Either you can find a way to get it through her stupid head that I don't work here, or I can leave and you can find someone else to buy the grill I'm waiting for right now, after you refund my deposit." Manager's face goes white. He was clearly doing some real hard thinking. "Ma'am, this man doesn't work here. If you would like, I will personally help you with whatever you need." The fury on her face was satisfying to see. Knowing she wasn't gonna get her way made my whole day better. $12,000 for it? I sure hope that's a really good grill. Like a really, that better clone your steaks that you put on the... I couldn't imagine spending that much money on a grill. But with that being said, that's all the stories we have for today, so what I want to know is which of these stories was your personal favorite and why? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you all so much for watching and listening to the Storytime channel. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and don't forget to turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. Thank you all again for watching and listening to the Storytime channel.